Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Nicole Arcady. Welcome to Mental Wellness for You. This is the podcast show where it is geared towards helping my moms with our mental wellness because we got to be okay in order for us to be all right with focusing on other people. We got to make sure we're taking care of ourselves first to ensure that we are able to be healthy and whole for others. I am going to talk to you today about balancing act. It's a balancing act. When I tell you motherhood, working, being a friend, being a daughter, being a sibling, being a cousin, right? It is definitely a balancing act. And oftentimes people are thinking, oh my gosh, how do I do this? Or I feel like I'm put over here. I'm stressed over here. I don't know how and what I need to do to ensure that I can address all the needs that I have and to address everyone's requests, everyone's demands, all the expectations that are just bombarding me all over the place. Well, guess what? You are not going to be able to address every single thing for every single individual. It is just simply not possible. And so when I say a balancing act, every one of us will have to determine what that looks like for us, right? When I say balancing act, it's what am I doing to balance my life and making sure that I'm balancing my health as well, right? Because my mental health is priceless. You can't put a price tag on a peace of mind. I have been there when you are feeling down, when you feel depressed, when you may feel unmotivated, when you just don't even feel like getting up. You're like, whatever they're going to eat, whatever they're going to eat today, right? When you just don't have enough oomph in you to get going, when the gas has been burned out and you feel overly drained, when you don't know whether today is tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, what day of the week it is, when you just don't have the wherewithal to even care about anything. That's what I want to prevent my moms from having, right? And learning for you what that balancing act needs to look like. Sometimes you may just need to balance two things. Think about juggling, right? If we're juggling something, for those of you who are listening on the podcast and not watching it visually, I'm not a juggler. So even though I'm doing it, I ain't even doing it right how I'm juggling, whatever, however you juggle, because I can't juggle. But when you're juggling, you may have two things you're juggling, right? Add a third, add a fourth, add a fifth, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I can't balance. I may be okay with juggling two things, but you add that third in there. So I may be okay with juggling being a wife and being an employee, right? But now you add that third thing in, talking about being a mother. Okay, it's getting a little bit more taxing, right? Then you add that fourth thing on there, talking about all the committees that I have to be a part of as a mom, or the things I'm committed to at work as well, or the things that I may be having pulled on me by my family members, depending on where you are in the birthing order, right? For those of you who are the eldest, like myself, we do realize that a lot more is put on us, right? I'm taking my little tea break real fast. A lot of expectations are placed upon the eldest of the family. And if you're a woman, right, and you are the eldest, all of those who know, right, can attest that it can be very challenging, and the expectations and the demands that are placed upon you from your extended family. So, what does that look like when I say it's a balancing act? Sometimes you got to take some things off your plate. Sometimes you're going to have to eliminate some things so that you are not becoming too overwhelmed. It is okay to say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to meet that request, or to say, you know what, thank you for thinking about me, but I'm not going to be able to do that. It's okay to say no. I know I talk about this a lot. You're going to hear me talk about this indefinitely because I need to get this through to my moms, to my women. It is okay to say no and not feel guilty about it. That is setting healthy limits, setting boundaries, setting guidelines with others. It's helping other people to know how to treat us, how to engage with us, what is acceptable to us and what is not acceptable to us, which is very extremely important. And I know oftentimes, our moms and women can have a difficult time with saying no and setting those boundaries, which is why I created my online courses, right? To help you with that. But the balancing act is seeing what you can do and what you cannot do. You may be only be able to balance two things today, and that's okay. You may say, you know what, Dr. Nicole, baby, look. This week is rough for me. I normally can do X, Y, and Z. I can only do X and Y today. That's okay, but you have to have that self awareness to recognize, is this something that I can do? Am I putting an extra burden on myself? Am I putting an extra layer on something that I don't need to do? Because oftentimes, now I'm gonna come a little closer. Oftentimes, moms, we actually put more on ourselves than we need to. We often overdo things without anyone else asking us because we want to make sure it's perfect, or we want to make sure we're giving our very best. And sometimes you need to exercise the motto of good enough model. You know what? I wanted to do, make this big meal, but today they just gonna have, it's gonna be breakfast tonight, and that's good enough. Sometimes we have to realize that we are overtaxing ourselves, and it's creating distress for us. It's creating tension in us. It's making us feel down, unmotivated. It's making you feel drained, right? So it's realizing what you can and cannot do, a balancing act, right? And I call it an act because it changes. Right? How many of you have gone to, well, back in the day was the circus. We don't really see circus, or, I don't even remember what the other circuses were called, but when you think about a show, or you've gone and you've watched, let's say a movie, right? You watch a movie, they have different acts, right? Different scenes that they're playing. And it changes depending on whatever the topic is, or whatever the subject matter is, or whatever they're trying to convey to you at that time. So if you think about life, right, as being on a stage, because let's be honest, life is simply a stage. There's this one, and I don't want to misquote it, but there is a quote, and I know it's not Aristotle. I can't remember who said this, but basically what it was saying is that life is a stage and we're all actors, right? And so if life is a stage and we're all actors, we all have our roles to play. And depending on what is written in the script, right, for us will depend upon how we react and what we give. And so if you think of life being on a stage and a balancing act, if I'm at work, right, then I have to balance that. What does that look like for me as Dr. Nicole Arcady, the assistant professor at a university? What are the requirements of me? What do I need to be able to provide and give? Then if I think about still the balancing act, what does that look like as Nicole Arcady, the mom? Right? What's required of me when I'm sitting on the committee? I am a part of the African American Parent Advisory Council, right? I'm a part of the PTA, just different things that I'm a part of for my kids, taking them to their different activities, right? When you're a mom. So if I think of life again as a stage and I'm an actor, and which scene am I playing? Am I playing the scene of a wife where there are certain requirements and expectations and things that my husband needs from me to be able to pour into him to assist him? That's balancing that. Then if I think of, once again, life as a stage and I'm an actress, then what scene am I playing when I'm in church and my husband is the pastor and I'm also a minister, and what role I have to play there to be able to give out and pour out spiritually? If I think of life as a stage and I'm an actress and I'm a mental health therapist with my own business and I'm providing a service to my clients, what am I doing there, right? And what am I providing? So you see all these different items, right? These different roles that I have. It's all a balancing act. And you think about, how do I balance it? I can't tell you specifically unless you sit down with me one-on-one, but I can give you some examples when I talk about life as a balancing act. I think you guys just heard me talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 different roles that I just mentioned that I have myself. And I'm pretty sure several of you have a lot of other roles that you function in as well. And so it's learning what that balancing act looks like you. And sometimes you just may not be able to balance. Sometimes you may have to take a break and say, you know what, not today. Today, I'm not going to balance anything. Today is going to be a day that I just lay down, I recuperate, I relax, I refresh, I recharge, I pour back into me. And that's good. That is healthy. It's important that we often take time to recharge and rejuvenate ourselves. For those of you who are watching me on the live on the YouTube channel, Dr. Nicole Arcady, you can see behind me, I still have my Christmas items up, right? Have my pictures are wrapped up like presents. I got gingerbread hanging right from the ceiling with tinsels, and you can see my candy cane, right? Because I haven't taken it down yet. One, I like Christmas, so that's just it, right? I know we're in the new year. But two, I'm not ready. When I say balancing act, I balance what I can do and when I will do the things that I have to do, right? I know I got to get things done, but I'll balance that and I'll get to it when I get to it. And I'm going to be graceful to myself, and I'm going to be accepting and understanding of myself when I can't do certain things. So it's balancing what you have to do when you do it. Can I say that again? It's balancing, moms, what you have to do and when you do it. Now, you may have to get the laundry done because you're looking at those pile of clothes that sit up there. When you do it is going to be key, right? If you have all these expectations, maybe this is the one day that your kids have a lot of activities that you have to take them to and drive them to, and you have something, if you're working, you have, a lot of expectation demands on you at work. Well, that may not be the day that you do laundry, right? Balancing what you have to do for when you do it. So pick a day that's a little bit more freer for you to be able to do that. Don't pick doing the laundry on a day that's already chaotic. That's just going to make you go insane in the membrane. Yo, insane, got no brain. Remember that song? So balance when you do what you have to do. I'm not telling anyone to, not take care of your responsibilities. What I'm saying is determine when you do what you have to do. Right? Prioritizing, very key. Let me take another sip of my tea. Because I just gave y'all some tea. Prioritizing, right? When you have to do what is necessary. And guess what? I want you to throw some dessert in there, right? That means doing some things for fun, doing some things that you enjoy doing some things that are not a requirement, but it's something that is enjoyable for you to do. So when I'm talking about a balancing act, I'm not just talking about balancing only simply the responsibilities and the things that you have to get done. I'm talking about adding in things for yourself, understanding that you are very important and you got to take care of your mental wellness, right? We often sacrifice so much of ourselves, moms, because we have so many expectations and requirements and things that we are trying to get done. But I want you to know that you have to have a healthy relationship with yourself. I talked about this in one of my episodes, right? Having a healthy relationship with yourself. Tiffany T. Todd, right? Too, that's how you find her, talks about having a healthy relationship with yourself. If you missed that episode, go back and catch that, right? It was the Artfully You, the new you, new year, new Artfully You. But having a healthy relationship with yourself, learning how to balance life with all the other expectations and the roles that you have, right? Assigned to you and ascribed to you. So I just wanted to come on here and just go over that. Just life is a balancing act. Sometimes you may want to get off that stage and you may need to exit yourself from that stage. Other times you need to determine what are some things that you can release and take away from off of your list, right? Like I'll give you an example. I'm at home right now. I am on a break. And so I do my podcast. I just started it back up, resumed it this year, 2023. I've been on hiatus. For those of you who have been waiting, I'm back, right? But I've been on hiatus for almost 2 years, since 2020. I think I did a couple episodes in 2020. I had to take care of my own mental wellness. We all were experiencing COVID, dealing with that transition. I dealt with, a close death in my family and dealing with that. And I just had to do the balancing act. And that meant I had to take off the podcast, right? I had to pause doing the podcast show because I had to practice what I was preaching, which was taking care of myself, ensuring that I was healthy and whole to be able to pour into others. So when I say a balancing act, it can shift, it can change, and you can adjust what your life looks like at that present moment. When you have younger kids, your life's going to look a little different, right? When you're raising younger children, my life looked a whole lot different when my children were younger. Now my kids, I have 2 adults and I have 1 child that is turning 17, right? So he will be a senior next year, 2024. Yeah, well, I guess with the 2023, fall of 2023, he'll be a senior, graduating in 2024. And so my life shifted and my balancing act became different. Now I do have to say, I thought it was going to be a whole lot less work that I would have to do having adult children. But woo, that's another podcast episode you guys will have to tune into also, and with my other special guests. It is a whole lot different being a parent of adult children. Oh my goodness, pray for me. Please pray for me. But I will say it's all still a balancing act. So as my children transition to a different age, I had to shift with what my expectations were, what I could do, what I couldn't do, right? When I could do what I needed to have done and when I didn't want to do certain things. But it's just finding that flow for you, finding that, what works for you and getting in the flow and getting in the mode so that you can ensure that you are doing what you need to have done for yourself. And that is the important piece. That is what is so very important in being able to do and making sure that you are managing all the things that you have to get done. So I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about balancing life, right? It's a balancing act. Being kind to yourself, being understanding of yourself when you cannot accomplish everything all at one time, all in the same day, and it is okay. So let's not be hard on ourselves, Mom. Life is hard enough, right? There is so much going on. We need to make sure that we are taking care of our very own selves with doing that. So this is Dr. Nicole. You know what? I was remiss. I forgot to play my little theme song because I told you guys my theme word for this year is unstoppable. And so I just love this song by Sia. I don't have the rights to this song, but I just love this song. Let me see if I can play it real fast for you guys. If you can hear it. Can you hear that? Okay. We got to be unstoppable when we are doing things in life, when we are moving forward, when we are taking care of our business, right? So let's see if I can hear this part. Because you got to make sure you're unstoppable. I don't care how strong we are. You know that taking care of your mental wellness is going to assist you, right? I'm unstoppable. I'm unstoppable. I'm invincible sometimes. I'm unstoppable. Go day. I'm a powerful. You're powerful, moms. Yes, you are. You are powerful. You're confident. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? I'm unstoppable. I'm unstoppable today. I hope you were able to hear that. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? Unstoppable today. Today, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable. I'm unstoppable. With that being said, when we say I'm unstoppable, that's just my theme for this. But with that being said, even though unstoppable is my theme song, I still need to realize when I need to stop. I do recognize that. I do recognize when it's time for me to pause, sit back, reflect, and relax. I do take my breaks. I pick my feet up, put my feet up, and making sure that I'm taking care of my own mental health. So moms, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, fantabulous day today. If you are wanting to just enhance your mental wellness, your personal or your professional growth, go ahead and visit my online wellness academy, right? That is AA Wellness Academy. And you can find it on my website, which is drnicolearcady.com. That's DrNicoleArkadie.com, where you can access that. Just wanting some more information on there and helping you with being able to stay motivated, making sure you can address whatever your communication needs or boundary needs. Just browse around on there and see what other kind of the different types of interactive workshops that I have on there and classes that I have on there. If you have not already subscribed to the podcast show, please subscribe. Mental Wellness for You. You can also just put my name in, Dr. Nicole Arcady. If you are listening to the podcast and you're like, you know what? I want to see what her facial expressions look like, because I do make some facial expressions, y'all. If you want to see what my facial expressions look like and you want to see that, go ahead and watch this live on my YouTube channel, Dr. Nicole Arcady. If you're saying, I want some just inspirational, motivational items, throughout the week, go ahead, follow me on Instagram. My handle is Dr. Nicole Arcady. Have you saw the theme here? I try to keep it simple so you can find me. And that is it. As one of my friends used to say, abadi abadi, that's all, folks. This is it for this episode today. I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your week and have a fantabulous time. Now, moms, why is it important for me to talk about and you to learn about mental wellness? Well, that's just simple because you matter too. Ta-ta for now, everyone. This is Dr. Nicole Arcady, your mental wellness